Be great. Welcome everybody to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable. Today is April 28th. It's I think our 82nd roundtable or something like that. So we've been doing this for a long time. As you know, we are part of the 1 million by 1 million global initiative, and our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond. So it's a very ambitious, audacious goal, but we are doing it with a very structured, systematic program. And for those of you who are listening to this for the first time, the program that we are doing right now is a free program. And then we also have a premium program, which consists of a full-fledged curriculum, which is video lectures and case studies, focused on very early stage capital efficient startups in largely the online and IT oriented segments so far. And then we also do a lot of business development work, introductions to customers, channel partners, investors, analysts, PR, all sorts of things that involve connecting the dots within the startup ecosystem. So it's a fairly comprehensive, structured program that we believe will cut through a lot of the pitfalls of early stage startups that I have seen in my long career, both as a serial entrepreneur and as a consultant. And we're trying to help you mitigate those risks and those common mistakes and avoid them. In this session, we have 5 presenters. We're going to have to roll fairly quickly. Just want to say a few things about the Microsoft BizSpark India Startup Grant. If you are in India, if you're a startup in India, Microsoft is offering a grant to 4 startups, 2 in mobile and 2 in cloud. And if you're applying for it, please feel free to use the program to prepare yourself. We are working quite closely with Microsoft on this. If you're tweeting the session, please use the hashtag 1M1M. We have a lot of people live tweeting the show, and lots of conversations happen through that. Also, feel free to use the public chat. The group icon, which is the 4th icon at the bottom of your screen, 4th from the left, is your group chat, public chat icon. My public chat is going to be closed for the duration of the presentations, and I'll open it up and ask for questions after I'm done working with the presenters. Okay. So the first presenter is Raj. The team is Raghu, Girish, and Raj. Recruiter Box is the company. Raj, if you could unmute yourself and come and tell us what you've got, that would be great.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, so I'm Raj Sheikh, and I'm sitting here with my colleagues Raghu and Girish, and we are Recruiter Box, based out of Bangalore. And if you could move to the next slide, I can tell you what we do. So basically, a lot of startups and small companies manage their hiring themselves in a manual way. When people are hiring, they get a lot of resume attachments emailed to them, and then they open each attachment and probably organize it in Excel or some other spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. Now, this is very time-consuming and inefficient. And at big companies or at companies where there are dedicated HR people for hiring, or where there are enterprise software solutions, they probably have some way of dealing with the onslaught of resumes in a less manual way. Mm-hmm. But for startups and small companies, there is no viable, easy, affordable solution. So that is where basically the idea of Recruiter Box was conceived. It's a simple platform, web-based, where companies can automatically have resumes forwarded to the Recruiter Box platform. So basically this happens in 2 ways. Either a company has made a job posting on one of the job boards, or people are applying to your career pages. So in both cases, we integrate with companies' career pages as well. You can have the resumes come directly onto our platform. So you no longer have to open any attachments. And you can easily have the resumes go directly to the job posting that you have assigned to it, and basically start tracking applicants, start scheduling interviews, start sharing notes with other people on your team that are going to interview, and so on and so forth, and even send canned responses to the interviewees. Now, for a small startup where probably the co-founders are hiring people, or for a very small organization where people are pitching in to do the hiring themselves along with a full-time job, this could possibly save a lot of time, and that's what we are seeing. And basically, it's a month-by-month subscription model which starts at $30. So that, in a nutshell, is the concept. Right. So, as I was just saying, we are specifically targeting only small companies and startups. To articulate that further, most of our customers are under 100 employees, where there is no dedicated staff for hiring at least. Even if they have an HR department, they may not have people dedicated to the hiring. These are small teams that are multitasking various things, and they need to maximize their productivity. The most practical part is the budget. They are not going to pay for an expensive solution, whether simple or complex. Most of the companies we are looking for and that we've had traction in are in North America and Europe, because they're used to using some sort of productivity software, and they are looking for such a solution. And specifically entrepreneurs and incubators that we are seeing do a lot of hiring themselves and want to cut down on the manual process that use the platform. Just to put a number to this, there are at least 3 million small companies in Google Apps. Now, the reason we say Google Apps is because we see a huge overlap to the companies that exist on Google Apps and the kind of companies that would use our platform.
Yeah.
So this is quite a large market. Okay. Basically, there are a bunch of things we need to do. A lot of these things currently are experimental, but some of the things that have worked for us is we are listed on the Google App Marketplace. We would like to figure out how we could be more highlighted there, but we have seen a lot of clicks and conversions come from from Google Apps.
Okay.
The other thing that we're doing, which we have actually recently started, is we're going to start putting up blog posts on our website every week, and this is more for an educational purpose, because we've said what we have to say about our product already, but we need to, we need to talk to businesses in general about small business productivity. And to that extent, we are going to put new content out there and hope that translates into SEO. We have been constantly revamping our Google AdWords strategy because it has started from a very broad strategy with a lot of keywords being used, and we've had to boil it down because we don't want to get confused with the other enterprise solutions out there and to people that may not be necessarily looking for us. So we're trying to do a better job of Google AdWords, and we are also using impressions ads such as Fusion ads, buy, sell, etc. Along with writing blogs on our own website, we are going to write to external publications that talk about small business productivity and SaaS software in general. One of the other things that we find which may put us in the next level of number of customers is pursuing some sort of relationship with job boards, not necessarily the big ones, but also maybe the niche job boards that have a lot of small companies and startups posting jobs. And they could basically offer our product as an add-on to the employers that are posting. We haven't landed any such relationship yet, but we may start out by just advertising on these job boards. Also, I'm going to talk about this on the next slide, but we do have Groupon China as our customer, so we're building fresh campaigns to leverage that testimonial further and to articulate how we're being used by customers for this Groupon. And basically, bottom line, the customer acquisition strategy, the marketing has to be more and more optimal because we will not be having a sales force, of course, for this level of product and pricing.
Yeah.
Talking about customer validation, these are just two examples which are on opposite sides of the spectrum. Ashcube is a very small startup. They make games, and they're just 4 employees, and they're hiring a lot of specialty folks, and the founders are doing the hiring themselves. So they, of course, didn't want to do it the manual way. They're always short on time, and they've been using us for almost the last 12 months, and they consistently found that it helps them, and it's affordable since they're on a budget. And Groupon China, which happens to be the fastest growing team within Groupon, they are conducting nearly 500 interviews a week across 17 locations in China, is also using us, even though they had a legacy enterprise system, because they found it easy to deploy our solution across decentralized hiring teams. There were small teams across every office.
How did how did Groupon China find out about your solution?
They found us through search.
They found you through search. So this is AdWords or organic search?
Google search.
PPC or organic search? Is it pay-per-click or organic search?
So it was organic.
Organic. Awesome. Awesome. Great. All right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell, based on your format. And of course, before we ask our questions, we wanted to see if you had any questions for us, or if something wasn't clear.
No, I think I understand your business. Your comment is absolutely true. Small business is a fragmented market, and the bulk of the small businesses actually don't do a lot of hiring. So your 3 million number, the 3 million small businesses on Google Apps number, that's a highly overrated TAM analysis for yourselves. There's a very small segment of that number that actually does rapid hiring. And probably the two areas, the two segments where that happens is one in the venture-funded startups like Groupon, where there is capital to do a lot of hiring. And the second perhaps is in the outsourcing segment. Other than that, typically the very small business segment or the small business segment is not a huge hiring segment. But having said that, Google Apps users are not only very small businesses. Google Apps are being used by very large organizations right now. We have a company in the program in 1 million by 1 million called Orangescape that is working with a lot of enterprise Google Apps accounts. So Google Apps, just be aware of these things. These are my comments on your segmentation. So my guess is the fastest ramp you're going to get is by focusing on the venture-funded startups.
Okay.
So
just to add a little,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I think that's true. And, we are hoping to integrate as the career page of a lot of these companies. So hopefully, even if they don't do rampant hiring, we are hoping that, there's some sort of a sticky factor there to being their career page.
Yeah, but you won't get money from them. If you're not solving a problem, people are not going to pay. Small startups are very conservative about money, so it may not be worth your time. Whereas people who are doing a lot of hiring and have needs will be willing to pay. Don't forget that for small startups, these like $30, $100 subscriptions add up, and people don't want to add up overhead, basically. So I think your best bet would be companies that are hiring fast and have this problem, and that's where I would focus. So in everything that you said, and in my experience, one of the most cost-efficient go-to-market strategies is actually guerrilla PR and organic search engine optimization. So your point about doing a blog on your site and drawing people into your site through highly optimized content, search engine content, that is a very good strategy, and that will yield well. And guerrilla PR in the audience where VC-funded startups are going, that would be probably the other most lucrative and cost-efficient customer acquisition strategy. Pricing structure, I think 30 to 100 is fine. How does the model move from 30 to 100? What is the structure?
So basically, okay, so we do it two ways. One is posting based. So any number of users within your employee pool can use it, but it's posting based. So $30 is 5 postings, whereas $100 is 40 postings.
Okay.
And once they are inactive, you can retire them. So you don't have to pay more. You only have to pay for active postings. Okay. And we also have a user-based model where you could have any number of postings, but you pay per user. This originally we designed keeping in mind recruiters, but we're seeing more traction in the posting-based model.
Okay. So are recruiters part of your structure? A part of your audience?
They were, but they are not anymore. They're not anymore at all because they are usually looking for more customized solutions.
Okay. All right. So, part of what I'm going to your question 5, convincing a monster.com or careerbuilder.com to sell your solution. How many customers do you have right now?
We have about 20.
I think you're going to need to get more traction. You're going to need to get more traction, and I would also build up an affiliate program. And one of the easiest ways, if you can, if your affiliate program is a lucrative program, if you have to work with smaller affiliate partners and develop the program and show some proof. If you can do that, then I think then you can go to Monster or Career Builder and turn them into your affiliates as well. Because if it's a program that converts well, if it's an affiliate program that converts well, that could be one way to convert a Monster or a Career Builder.
Sure, that makes sense.
And TechCrunch, VentureBeats, they're not easy to get into. You start with the lower, lower traffic, less popular blogs, and work your way up. They typically cover you if you get a financing. They always cover you almost. Well, not always, but at least there's a good chance they'll cover you. But I assume that you're not looking for financing right now.
No, not at the moment.
No. So I think you can get into them if it's something really unique. But this is not. I'm seeing this kind of solutions a lot. The hiring, software as a service solutions around the recruitment process. So, the news element of it is not quite as exciting. So anytime you're trying to do a good PR strategy, people are looking for news and excitement. On my blog, it's a different story. I don't do news. I do companies, like, I do company profiles. So there are some of them. Mashable will probably cover you on the basis of that. Through today's presentation, you're going to get into Read Write Web. So those are some of the ways. Once you get further, we can, if you decide to join the 1 million by 1 million program, we will be able to give you a lot more PR. But getting into TechCrunch or VentureBeat, there's no predictable strategy as such.
Sure.
Okay. All right. We're going to.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your input, and we will take your comments to heart.
You're welcome. So Raj, if you could go on mute, and Ben, if you could unmute yourself and come online and tell us about Ask for Friends.
Hi, and thanks for hosting me today, Sramana. So I want to talk about AskForFriends.com. It's a gift recommendation site that relies on the advice of friends to get really personalized gifts. Next slide, please. I therefore quickly wanted to run through the usage case. So a guy is looking to buy a gift for his girlfriend. He maybe has an idea or two, but isn't sure and also wants to get some more ideas. He therefore comes to our site where he can see several different types of advice. So firstly, we'll have blog or magazine style recommendations or trends. Secondly, we'll have a mathematical what's hot products of our database, i.e. what people have been voting for previously. Thirdly, there'll be a collection of best gift ever stories from other women that we have been collecting. So we've got around 350 of these stories, and we're aiming for a couple of thousand. And four, there's going to be a personality type driven algorithm recommendation for advice. So he then puts these things into an advice basket, and he sends this on to friends of his girlfriend by email. He can also use his own friends if that's not possible, and we're working on how to develop that to make it more slick. These friends then vote, and the guy has much more specific advice on what to buy. Our aim is not getting people to spend more money. Instead, it's about getting better gifts for people. We'd be happy if the guy spent no money at all, for instance. For one example of the best gift ever stories was where a husband made a homemade tiramisu and did a serenade for his wife. It was really cheesy, but she really loved it. Next slide, please. So, social factors play an enormous role in gift purchasing, but this hasn't translated particularly well to the online world. It remains largely an offline thing. So what differentiates us is that gift recommendation sites are very fragmented. You know, if you do a Google search, you give very either tacky sites or very small sites with very few followers. So what we aim to do is offer, firstly, a wide selection of gifts, so experiences, physical gifts, all chosen by other women, so we know that they're actually gifts that will work. Then we allow you to put any gift into your gift basket, so that eliminates the conflict of interest that you normally get through sites, where they only allow you to kind of view their own particular catalogue. And then the third thing is that we allow users to get feedback on the gifts themselves. We believe there's no other dedicated site doing this currently on the internet. And so the question is, why do users care? Well, we help with three things. Firstly, a guy may have an idea, but lack the confidence to go ahead, and I've certainly had that a couple of times, so we provide support with that. Secondly, a guy may need some ideas, you know, he just doesn't know where to start. And thirdly, one thing I find with the internet is actually that there's often too much choice. You know, there's too many sites that you can go to that give recommendations and advice, so it helps boil down that tyranny of choice. Next slide, please. So our market is pretty easy to define. You can do that using some of the information in Facebook, for example, as a proxy. So if you set things like the parameters of being in a relationship in the UK, etc., you can get just over 2 million potential users. That may not exactly replicate how many people are willing to buy gifts online, but it gives us a good starting point. We can then also expand from this niche in several different ways. So once we demonstrate the engine, we can expand to women buying for men, for instance, or geographically, or even into other gift buying and feedback scenarios. The revenue is an affiliate-based commission model, so we would get click-throughs to our affiliate partners, and we would generate two different types of click-throughs, one from the guys themselves, but also potentially from the advisors who may look at some of the suggestions that they're sent and then actually return to buy the item themselves. Finally, we'll also generate, when the database is starting to get more and more recommendations and advice, we'll then generate a lot of market research. Next slide, please. So with this slide, I just wanted to show how we plan on acquiring customers in several different phases. Organically first, with a lot of word of mouth. My partner and I were both MBA students, so we have a good population that we can actually email and push the idea onto and talk to. We'll also make heavy use of targeted Facebook advertising, as I said in the TAM earlier on, and using Google keywords, both paid and SEO. We also plan to use offline activities, so guerrilla and marketing activities like flyering in a busy shopping street. Then when we get more resources, doing offline advertising, for instance, on the tube in London. On the right-hand side of the slide, I don't propose to go into too much detail, but it's a Web 3.0 strategy that you may recognize. So that's how we believe we cover all the elements of content, context, community, commerce, personalization, and vertical search. Next slide, please. Very quickly, I'm taking a bit of time. Just want to talk about the customer validation that we've done. We did an experiment where we asked some friends to carry out the process with us acting as a back end via email. It was slightly cumbersome and artificial, but we learned some useful things around data security and the reporting format. We also, as I said, wrote to fellow students as part of the process of gathering stories, which gave a lot of feedback and also generated word of mouth. So those are that's the pitch. Just wanted to ask you the 5 questions that I have there. First and foremost, what do you think? Does the idea as structured have merits?
Could be. I mean, it's an interesting concept. I think the point of view you want to look at it from is more the business model, Ben. So let's kind of peel the onion a little bit. You talked about affiliate fees as one of your business models, right? So 5% to 10% affiliate charges. Now, talk to me a bit about what your customer research shows in terms of the portfolio of products that you are able to bring onto the platform as the catalog, so to speak.
That's really interesting, because the research, the kind of sites that you can get affiliate commissions through is very, very broad. Yeah. And what we wanted to do is make sure that the products in the catalog was as broad as possible. So actually, we've now,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think the broadness is not. I'm actually much more of the opinion that you need to make it as curated as possible. I don't want the entire commission junction catalog.
Oh, sorry. Exactly. So there's going to be a breadth of products that is very highly curated. So every product that we put on the site, we will verify ourselves. It's not that we will put every product of Commission Junction on there, because we want to make sure that the recommendations we're making are really specifically tailored. For instance, we will have a best ever gift story. So these 350 going to 1,000 best ever gift stories. On the bottom of that will be a link through to a curated product that we will sometimes derive from one of the affiliate partners, but if it doesn't fit, then we won't put one of the affiliate partners in. So, as you say, it was very highly curated.
So, but if your model is dependent on if your business model, monetization model is dependent on an affiliate fee, then you kind of need products that offer you an affiliate commission, right?
Right, exactly. And so what we'll do is have within our own site, we'll try and nudge people towards using the recommendations within our site. But the business model is first and foremost based on making things as useful for the user as possible.
Yeah, but you still have to, you're in a business. This has to be a business. The usefulness part I understand, but the way this is going to be interesting as a business is if there is enough business there. And I guess the question I'm asking is very specific. Listen to the question. What does your research show about the portfolio of products that do have affiliate fee structures attached to them that fit the quality level of your catalog or your recommendation system? Because these commission junction kind of companies also are full of crappy products.
Yeah, that's right. So we've looked at competitors. I think some of the better competitors are the best place to see what size of catalog you can get. And there's, you can build a catalog of maybe 1,000 or 1,500 items that have the level of quality that we need. And those would almost all be driven by the commission junction affiliate window type people.
Okay. So that's a reasonable starting point. 1,000, 1,500 catalog is a reasonable starting point. Okay. Customer acquisition on a low budget, as I was talking to Raj earlier, one of the highest yielding customer acquisition strategies, the two of the highest yielding customer acquisition strategies are guerrilla PR and search engine optimization, organic search engine optimization. And I think
I noted those down from Raj. Guerrilla PR, what would you be able to dig down slightly deeper into that?
Yeah, it's basically working with the bloggers and the reviewers in various places. There are all sorts of reviews and ratings type of places where you can get your site reviewed, like reseller ratings and so on and so forth. Then just get bloggers to write about it and so on and so forth. So depending on, you want the UK bloggers whom your audience are reading. Those are the kinds of places where you want to be featured. And then, of course, regular PR as well, but guerrilla PR works at a faster clip than regular PR, and it has very strong potential to drive traffic. And so those are some that I would recommend. There's a whole guerrilla PR module in the premium program that you could look at if you like. what stage would you suggest talking to outside investors? You're gonna have to get this into a business. In consumer internet businesses, people don't fund concepts. I mean, in nowhere in the technology or our technology-enabled services ecosystem today do investors fund concepts. Mostly what's being funded are businesses that are largely validated businesses. So this business needs to have a certain level of validation before it would be ready to be presented to investors.
Okay, and, yeah, we are funding the first round ourselves.
Sorry?
We're funding the first round ourselves to get it started.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook iPhone apps are very effective. If you can, those are actually good customer acquisition strategies to work in Facebook somehow into your model, to work in iPhone or iPad into your model. Those are very good strategies. But when you're bootstrapping a company, it's not always feasible to do all of those at once. So it would be okay if you want to start with just a regular website and work that in later, but focus on your regular e-commerce site first. You don't need to worry about expanding out of a niche right now. That can wait. You need to get your business going first. So your market, positioning and everything is reasonably good. You need to basically get it going at this point and start getting at least the first set of customers to start showing both ramp and also figure out the details of your customer acquisition costs and so forth, and get revenues. You'll hear about this in the methodology section a lot. We've focused very much on trying to get you into a kind of self-generated mode as soon as possible. So ideally, go for monetization as quickly as possible. And if you go back to your to the way you were showing the Web 3.0 strategy, the real commerce strategy here is the fact that you have a catalog that you want to sell out of and you get paid to do that. That's your real commerce strategy. So the personalization vertical search, the personalization piece is the recommendation engine that is bringing in all the community to recommend products, but you really need them to recommend products that monetize for you to make this get into a cash generating business as soon as possible.
Right.
And I prefer that strategy of having a lower number of users, but all of them are serious paying users, as opposed money generating, revenue generating users, as opposed to very large adoption with no monetization.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome, Ben. Danny, you're next. If you could please unmute your line and come online.
Hi.
Hi,
Sramana? Great.
Yes.
Great. So my name's Danny Wong, and I work with a company called GemKitty. And our product, you could go to the next slide. So our product is our product is customized jewelry. And so the way it works is we have a design your own application allowing you to design each piece of your jewelry. And the jewelry that we specialize in now are women's earrings and women's necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick from sterling silver or 14-karat gold, and then you also complement that with hand-picked gems. And you could go with different sizes and colors, both for the metals and the gemstones that you're using. But our value proposition is that we're trying to change the way that women are purchasing jewelry. We're empowering them to be their own jewelry designer, so that there's a problem with the way the retail market is now, where mass production is the retailer will create something and you just kind of have to settle and buy it. And we think that there's a fundamental problem there. Why? Because there's nothing unique in that when there are 1,000 or 10,000 copies of the same product. And two, those products are meant to sort of satisfy you, because usually when you purchase something, it's not always perfect. There's always something that could be changed, that could be unique to you, that you think would be perfect for you. And we're trying to offer this at an accessible price point with custom necklaces from $47 to $191, and custom earrings from $38 to $78. Most pieces are actually $100, and that's fantastic for handmade, made in the USA piece of jewelry. Something that we're also trying is also doing some ready-made limited edition lines. It's a little counter to what our fundamental core values are, but we've also realized after all our user testing that not everyone is excited about, while they like the idea of designing their own pieces, they might not always feel too inspired, because there's also a lot of friction in starting from scratch and not knowing exactly what you want. So sometimes you can start from templates, or you can just have a limited edition design, which is also desirable. The fact that not everyone will have it. 10,000 people won't have it, but maybe 500 in the whole world might, or even fewer. And with our online configurator, I wish I could tell you what technology it's built in, but I'm not the most technical person. But we have a flexible backend allowing us to add new gemstones as needed and work with different designs as we'd like as well. So if you could move on to the next slide.
Now, a quick question before you do that. You're saying handmade pieces
Sure.
made in America, and you are in Shanghai. Is that true?
Yes. Well, I work virtually with the firm. I'm helping to support their marketing efforts. The company is based in Portland, Oregon. And the founder's originally from Hong Kong. She sources all the gemstones from Hong Kong. I'm in Shanghai for incredibly different purposes. So I work with a few other companies, and I'm helping to support GemKitty's public relation and marketing efforts.
I see. Okay.
So our customer, after we did one market research and 2 user testing, we've realized that we thought it would be exciting to get into all these big fashion magazines, and we've been in a few, but we've also realized that things didn't quite work out. Why? Because our product isn't haute couture. It's not this aspirational luxury product, and it's typically for more matured women who can appreciate the value that we're offering, rather than looking for a brand name that they could brag about to their friends. Older women realize that they don't need to be branded, and they're a little more self-empowered as women. But
the 25-year-old is not the 25 to 30-year-old category does not fit that at all. I think your suggestion is incorrect.
Okay. What suggestions would you have for that?
If you're looking for people who don't care about brands, you're talking about people probably in the 35 to 55 age group, as opposed to the 25 to 45 age group.
Okay.
35 and above.
Okay. Well, I mean, just looking at our customers, we have had some younger women that have been really excited. I guess part of it is because our customer count isn't too high. I actually don't have the numbers, but it's somewhere in the hundreds or low thousands. And
they're
we've had
for different reasons. They're interested in playing with this idea of designing their own jewelry. The younger audience is. I'm responding to the way you are positioning it as people who don't want to be branded, but I think the younger audience may be interested because it's a creative process, and if they have time and budget, they may be interested because they are Because it's a fun process of designing your own jewelry. It's like playing with Barbie and all that, right?
Okay. Right. So I guess there were there may have been some issues with our marketing, well, with our offering, because we need the web savvy people to appreciate our offering, because they can go online and they can play. The older generation might not be web savvy enough to appreciate the technology that we're offering and realize, oh, I can design my own, and appreciate how e-commerce has changed and evolved. Well, how retail has changed and evolved. So our experiences
I think the band that you've presented, you have two different segments, but with two different psychographics. And in consumer marketing, psychographic is really important. The 25 to 35 or 25 to 40 segment is probably, maybe 25 to 35 segment is probably play category. Very, very web savvy. Maybe they have time in their hands. They want to play with the software and design their own thing. So it's that category. If you're talking about the more mature, empowered women who don't want to be branded and they're buying for a different reason, that's a different category. I almost feel that your 25 to 35 category may be a better bet.
Yeah. Why would you say that?
Because I'm not, for some of the reasons that you've talked about is that these are, the older women are not necessarily spending as much time doing these kinds of projects online, although I'm not completely, that's not a complete blanket statement. You have to do some statistics on this, because Etsy is doing really well, and I think Etsy is tapping into that psychology of creativity. So I think depends on what psychology you're selling on, and I think you have two different psychologies that you're trying to straddle, which is what I'm having trouble with here. Is this a brand that is about creativity, or is this a brand about not being branded?
So that's part of the figuring out process. I'm sorry?
I think there are two different psychographics. And I think
sure. And I definitely agree.
The kinds of designs you've shown me, they are, to me, they're not unique enough and they're not interesting enough. So if you're talking about the more mature women with real style and real understanding, real discerning users, I don't see the product yet to appeal to that category. There are designers who do limited edition products, and there's a store, for instance, you can find them online, called De Novo. It's a small jewelry gallery in Palo Alto. They carry a small selection, maybe of 50 really limited edition jewelry designers, and they're fantastic work. Of course, they are much more expensive than the price point that you're talking about. So if you're trying to bring interesting stuff in that price point, what you're showing as far as products, whatever little visibility I have into your product designs, they're not interesting to me at all.
Okay. So you're suggesting sexier, more innovative designs.
Yeah, I think what you're putting up on the pictures that you put up, they're commodity products. You can find them in 50,000 places on the web and outside. If you really want to do something creative, try to find. My sense is a much better business for you would be finding 50, the De Novo business, which is finding 50 really interesting designers in your price point doing limited edition jewelry, and I think you'd have a much easier time selling to a good discerning audience. Right now you're selling commodity packaged as something interesting, and it's kind of doesn't resonate with anybody.
Okay. Thank you for your feedback.
Okay.
So let me talk a little bit about our experiences. If you could go back.
Yeah.
Let me talk a little bit about our marketing experiences. So in marketing in general, we've done some advertising and some SEM and some display, and our conversion rates for those channels just weren't working.
I wouldn't bother.
Whether the costs were too high or our conversions were too low, things just didn't align such that we were either at break even or profitable for those channels. The only real profitable channel has been with PR, and channels that mix PR and advertising, doing giveaways and whatnot with bloggers also haven't been great, while pure editorials have been the most successful. For whatever reason that may have been, maybe because our positioning for the advertising wasn't strong enough or genuine enough.
Look, the philosophy I follow is for early stage companies like you, PR is always preferable to advertising. And for at this stage of the game, PR is really the only real profitable channel, the other one being organic search engine optimization. So I would focus on those two.
Okay. Yeah, we've tried doing some things in search as well, although search is a very steep uphill battle. That as much as we'd like to, we are continuing to do SEO campaigns, but
see,
capitalizing
like
on
I told you, you have problems with your product strategy. Your product is not a differentiated, interesting product. Your commodity product trying to position as something interesting, and you really need to fix your product strategy and merchandising strategy to get any of this to work. So let us say you drive traffic through PR or through affiliate. You can do affiliate, by the way, that works for early stages. So you drive traffic, they still won't convert unless you have a good product strategy and a good merchandising strategy. And I think you have a very flawed product and merchandising strategy.
Okay. So I guess we have to go back to the drawing board and reconsider the product that we're offering and then test it some more. But in terms of our experiences trying to validate the product, which hasn't been working the greatest. I mean, we've been online for about 1.5 years, live in basically a beta stage, and every day we have a few new customers, but it's pretty flat line growth rate.
Look up this jewelry.
I'm sorry?
It's called De Novo, and try to do an equally, differentiated and classy thing in your price point. That would give you a much better business.
Can you spell that out, please?
DENOVO.
Okay.
All right? Okay, I need to move on to the next person.
Great. So I'll put myself on mute. Thanks.
Yeah. Arun, if you could unmute your line and come and talk to us about InCircled.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Sramana. So a lot of the points that people have been talking about, they made slides, but I'm basically going to talk through a lot of them. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So in essence, social networks are getting too big. Interacting with the people that you care about in an easy and fun manner has become extremely difficult. With the way that Facebook has grown and the number of applications that they're providing, a lot of the actual functionalities are lost, especially if you want an opinion or need a question. I'm sure there's a ton of people on the call who've wanted to post different status messages on Facebook, but kind of wonder whether it's appropriate or who's actually going to end up seeing it. I think Facebook, caters to an exhibitionist quality that a lot of people have, but when it comes down to interacting with the people that you really care about, you lose focus on those strong relationships, because with the way that Facebook introduces all their feeds or anything, sometimes there's some logic, sometimes there isn't. So our aim is to help you strengthen those relationships, or help you leverage those strongest relationships that you've had, and not miss out on opinions that actually really matter to you from them. The next slide, please. So to that comes InCircled. We're a platform by which you can ask questions to relevant people, get feedback that can ultimately lead to a decision, an answer, or just essentially having fun, whether it's talking about a YouTube video or basically posting something that you want to talk about with your friends, but really can't do it using current platforms. Now, in terms of competitors, we think Facebook is too large and they're trying to introduce too many features. It's getting too muddled up. Email's too cumbersome to essentially follow, especially if you have more than 5 people in the list. And Quora is essentially too vast and way too impersonal. You have situations where when people talk about Instagram, the person who comments about it is the CEO of Instagram, which is awesome. It's great to see his post, but when he's out promoting it, you're really not getting an unbiased view of the product to essentially to the questions that are asked. In terms of the validated, I'm going to go through some of the points that Sramana said that we should cover. I went through the customer value proposition. The segmentation analysis and the target customer definitions that we went through is we separated into 2 points. One, we looked at how do people approach the current social network. One is kind of describing the product that we have. It was very interesting. We found in different age groups, for example, teenagers liked the idea because they felt like, oh, I can interact with my clique a lot better because there's so many different cliques that exist in high school. As the age brackets got older, people said, oh, I love the product because I can interact with, smaller circles. Facebook is too big. I don't understand how to use it. I'm not on it as much. If I had something where I could interact with just my friends, I think I would, definitely look into it to use it. From the Facebook standpoint, we felt that people were commenting on the difficulties in using it, and if you've been following the news, there's been a lot of articles about how it's getting too big, how people are becoming too impersonal, and how all the relevancy in there is basically lost. So we know that the social network has been established. What we're basically trying to do is bring all your connections from all your social networks together into groups or circles that are relevant to you through an intuitive UI. These circles can be, for example, you can have people from Facebook, people from Gmail, people from LinkedIn into a group that you feel is relevant to answer your questions. The way that we're creating it is that you have pre-existing circles, or you can also create one on the fly, or just change it based on what you need. We're allowing you to essentially do it through links, ask questions through links, through photos, or any other possible means of communication.
So
initially, we're looking at
just a second. How does this work? You're talking about an entirely new social network, or is it a Facebook app or a LinkedIn app, or how does architecturally how does this work?
Right, it's a separate social network. So it's essentially a separate site where when you sign in, you import your friends into it and form your group. So it's something else that you have to look into. Where the way that we're looking at revenue and stuff is we're trying to buck the macro trends of advertising and going towards micro trends of essentially opinion-based feedback from a lot of our users, in the sense that we can target our users based on zip code, go to the corner shop, say, hey, do you want to introduce a deal? They're saying like, yeah, hey, we want to introduce a new dish. What do people here think? We see a lot with the coupon sites happening is these restaurants get a one-time deal that helps them. And that doesn't really help them, and there's been a lot of feedback on that. We feel that we can reach their customer base and they can offer deals or use this platform to help bring in people who have a high probability of coming back again. So because of that, we're essentially and because of the privacy that we want to maintain for our users, we're creating a separate platform away from Facebook. I mean, you can use Facebook to import it, and it will use the messaging system of Facebook, but it's not going to post on the wall or anything like that unless the user wants to say, hey, I'm using InCircled. But in terms of the questions or anything, we're trying to stay as far away from that as possible.
Okay.
We're trying to enhance, the connections through, enhance your communications. We're adding a point system to make it more relevant. You can be a top advisor for your friend. We're using currently 4 different types of questions: yes, no. We're going to use a poll. Word association, which is something innovative we think we've come up with, where you use words to actually describe why you chose an answer. An example is, why did you choose, would you go to Brazil or Italy? Italy, beautiful, expensive, historic. And so we've been going through a lot of psych papers where they say you can communicate quite a bit through words, and we believe that this is going to be a very strong, not just a tool in terms of getting feedback for relevant questions instead of text after text after text, but also from a marketing standpoint, if a brand like Pepsi or Coke wants a very succinct way of knowing what people think about a commercial, a brand, a shoe, or anything accordingly. So again, the users will accumulate these points based on answering the questions. We're looking at redeeming it through either coupons, products, or charity. We're looking, once you reach a certain amount of points, we will donate money to charity to kind of encourage people to continue using the product. As of currently, we are actually, customer validation, we've done quite a bit. We're doing small alphas here and there to get people to use it. We're launching in the first, second week of May, totally. Currently, what we're trying to do is get proof of concept. We really believe that we should use the VC money for scalability. Everything is essentially on the cloud, so we're able to test different markets. And once the advantage with the application we have is that you need to bring in your friends in order for it to expand. So that itself kind of adds into at least reaching out to a larger group of people. And we think that will, help spread the word. And at one point, it can grow very quickly, but at the same point, they always say your 100 first customers are the most hardest. The 150th is a lot easier. So we're trying to focus and get the value proposition across to those initial users so that we can spread the word about InCircled. So essentially, since we're in a stage where we're out, we have a placeholder where, interacting with a lot of our audience, you have these small alphas going on. I guess my question was, without budgeting too much to marketing, how do you gain that user base?
I have to say, Arun, I am not comfortable with your product strategy at all.
Okay.
There are some things that I like about the value proposition, which is kind of marketeers' ability to, whether it's brands or entrepreneurs, whoever is trying to do some market research, whether it's a corner store or some e-commerce company, whoever is trying to do market research, being able to do market research or focus groups, so to speak, using your platform.
Right.
I like that part. But getting people to go on a different social network today, I think, is not going to work. I get requests to go on various different social networks from various different people, trusted people, and I just delete. And I think people are overwhelmed by the number of people who are trying to launch social networks. So my guidance to you as far as product strategy is concerned is try to do something on top of Facebook or something on top of LinkedIn as Facebook apps and LinkedIn apps, rather than trying to pull people off to a different social network. So that's my first. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I was wondering, do you think the proposition of offering, it's much more personalized? So the amount of friends you can actually import is limited to like 50 people. So since it's your closest 50, you don't think that's a value proposition enough for people to at least, get into the site to check it out?
No, because it depends on what you're trying to do with those 50, what kind of activities you're trying to do, and what audience are you trying to reach. So, random people pulling 50 people is not going to be useful for marketeers, right? You're going to need, and I would really suggest that you identify what group do you want to go after and what kind of applications do you want to build. What kind of use cases do you want to build? Whether you want to go after the teens or you want to go after the more B2B segment, you want to go after, moms or, something that gives the user base that you go after some cohesion. Otherwise,
I'm sorry.
Just a second. Otherwise, the value proposition that you're going to bring to the marketeers who are trying to use your product, which is your monetization model effectively, is not going to work. It's going to be all over the place, and you don't have the luxury of large numbers, at least not anytime soon. It's very, very difficult to acquire customers. So if you're working with small numbers of customers, I would go really segmented, really tight before I, and with very specific use cases.
Okay. Would you look at like determining it, like doing an alpha, getting various groups, and then seeing which one uses it most, and then doing it, or just going in the beginning itself, targeting a specific group?
I think you should think this through. It's a very interesting product strategy question. Like, for instance, if you came to me and said that, okay, we're gonna, we're gonna market to the 1 million by 1 million entrepreneur base, and I'm gonna develop ways on top of Facebook and LinkedIn through which your entrepreneurs can do, customer validation in their segments. That would be one way of looking at the problem, right? It's similarly if you. So I mean, there are many ways of looking at it, and you need to figure out which use case are you the most comfortable with, and where you can bring in the most value, right? We all have our sweet spots. There's some markets where we are stronger than others. There may be a market segment that you really understand better than others, where you can find the use cases, find the apps, and so forth. And I would pick and map that against where the monetization models exist. So those would be my guidance. I think your product strategy is not there.
Okay.
This needs a lot of work on product strategy. I can help you with that product strategy, but as it stands, that product strategy needs a lot of work. And this is not VC fundable at all anytime soon. You're going to need to do a lot of work and a lot of traction. So you
realize that. We know we
need to worry about VC capital, raising VC capital for scaling, because you're not even close.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I don't know what you're launching in mid-May. I don't see something ready to be launched.
Okay, yeah, this is just a general overview. We have a lot of the stuff ready, but essentially we're not looking to launch to the general audience. We want to just do small alphas to just kind of get people's feedback and see how they like using the system before we actually launch.
Don't waste time and money on these launches without thinking through what you're doing. I think what I see here is there's a lot of work, a lot of groundwork, strategy groundwork that you need to do before you waste time on building things and launching things. Because all those are expensive processes. The other comment about India and Brazil is that I wouldn't go for both of those markets. I would pick one market and just focus on that market. Because when you go to marketeers don't market simultaneously in India and in Brazil.
Right.
So ultimately, people you use to monetize are people who are in one market or another, and you better pick your market. Your segmentation is kind of all over the place right now.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Yep. The last presenter is Aisha. Aisha, if you could unmute your line and come tell us about Magna Consulting.
Thanks, Sramana. Good morning, everybody. I'm Aisha Halswat, Executive Director of Magna Consulting Private Limited, which is a boutique retail consulting firm in India. Along with me, there is another partner, and both of us together have 25 plus years of experience in the consulting area. The age of our company is 1 month, just started. But for the last 4.5 years, we are interacting with the SME retailers in the eastern zone of India and across pan-India basis. And we have found out that a major part of their time, effort, and money gets exhausted in managing their internal processes or vendors, be it in people, be it in the process, or be it in the technology area. Therefore, in Magna, we are working for the small and medium retailers globally who are on the growth path, and they need handling and support to transition their technology, processes, and people in order to meet their business goals. Our flagship offering is next slide, please. Hello, next slide, please. Okay. Our flagship offering is MCS version 1.0, by which we sit along with the stakeholders and through a series of structured workshops plan a comprehensive roadmap for them. Now, where we bring a difference is that we also help the retailers to realize this roadmap by a bouquet of realization services like website strategy and implementation, be it mystery shopping or be it customer connect programs like customer loyalty program, customer complaint management system, or workforce management training. Next slide, please. Now, the value that we bring to the table is this IDAIN model that's in the previous slide, where we say that we are the one-stop shop. So, and we start from strategy to planning to operation to support under one umbrella. Our target market are the SME retailers. Therefore, we have purposefully kept our organization structure lean and mean by only having a set of specialists and managing the rest through linkages with system integrators, product companies, etc. Now, the challenges that we are facing right now is how to scale up, because it's a very, oriented thing. We are sitting with the customer for the workshop. It's like how I am communicating with the customer, or it totally depends upon my competency of understanding the retail domain, the customer problem. So the challenges that we are facing right now is how to scale up this one. The second one is obviously the investment part, how to go about the investment, because when we need to scale up, we need to bring investment from the external funding. Sramana, I would like your advice here, whether, how to grow, whether to bring external funding or whether to grow slowly within the, internal cash, managing the internal cash flow, acquiring customers that way. And the third part is how we will know that we are going in the right direction, because this is a very niche consulting firm, and there are there are not specific ratios or milestones, to benchmark ourselves to find out whether we are going in the right direction, or whether the health of the firm is healthy or not. So,
what is your revenue level? What is your revenue level right now?
Sorry, your voice is breaking up. Can you please come once again?
What is your revenue level right now?
Okay. Right now we have 3 customers. Our projected revenue level for this financial year is 3 lakhs, but we have just started 1 month, and in this time period we have acquired 3 customers. Deal size around 50K.
So 5 lakh per customer, yeah? No, 50,000 dollars. 50,000 rupees per per customer.
Yes.
And
yes.
what is
because
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Because to start up, we are targeting the SME retailers who are mainly the exporters or the manufacturers, and till now they were exporting their items, or they are exporting their items even to the NDOs. But now they are looking to expand, and through they are setting up their own EBOs. So we are targeting these customer segments right now.
So, let me answer your middle question first. The kind of company you have, it's a consulting company. These companies don't get funded. You have to grow through internal organic generation. So the option of funding does not exist for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, so just iterating, do you suggest that we go on increasing our customer base and the revenue that we are generating from our existing customers, we expand that part, like a percentage of that revenue in growing the firm, in growing the company?
That's right. That's really your only option. Now,
okay.
Tell me a bit about these 3 customers that you have closed at the 50,000 rupees level. what is the composition of the services that you need to provide to them? Is it all advisory services, or are you actually implementing projects for them? What's the composition?
Okay, good question. One customer is a leather manufacturing retailer. We have signed for they have agreed to take, we are in fact doing the workshops with them for the consulting services, that is NCS version 1.0. For another customer, we are right now doing the web store strategy and implementation. They are basically exporters, and now they are trying to expand with their own stores and planning their bases. And also they are creating hubs globally to sell their items in different countries. So they are looking for an online store. So we are acting as a consultant there, where we are strategizing their web store. And implementation, like we are doing the project management with SI vendors. So it's like single point contact for the retailers. Magni is a single point contact for the retailers. The third customer is again NCS, like consulting services. We are looking for consulting services, but at the end of the whenever we will be coming up with a roadmap. Already the need that we have identified is they want to do the digital marketing, creating their branding, lead generation through digital platform through us.
Okay. So all of these are consulting services, and the implementation is being done by somebody else, and it does not come out of the 50,000 rupees fee.
Yes. Okay. Yes. No, that doesn't come. It's just like, the top line and the bottom line.
And how many clients like this, between you and your partner, how many of these advisory services clients or consulting services clients can you manage?
Good question. That's a problem that we are facing when we are saying that we need to scale up. Because
no, answer my question. I heard you
say that in our consulting topic. Yeah.
Answer my question. How many can you manage? Answer my question. I know your challenge. Right. How many do you handle?
I'm telling you. So in NCS version 1.0, we say that we would provide them with 4 workshops. One, the time limit is approximately around 3 hours for each of the workshops. So taking that into account, we can handle at max 10 customers per month, assuming that we are getting a good customer flow, healthy customer flow for the consulting services.
And the 50,000 rupees is for a 1-month project or for longer projects?
For the 4 workshops, we are charging 50,000 rupees.
Okay. So then you can do 5 lakhs a month at capacity.
At max right now, yes.
Okay, well, if you can do 5 lakhs a month, that's a good 60 lakhs of a year business. Why don't you and your partner first build that business, and once you've maxed out and built your 60 lakhs of year business, come back and talk to me. There's no need to think about scalability right now.
Okay.
You're trying to put a cart before the horse.
Okay. Sure, I'd like to keep traction with you, definitely.
All right. Okay, folks, we are going to...
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you could all go on mute, I'm just going to do some methodology before we close. But before that, we have a Facebook poll open. Please go to the facebook.com 1M by 1M page. And all 5 companies that you've heard today are listed there in the poll. And please vote for your favorite company. And presenters, you're welcome to have your friends come to the page and vote as well. And we'll announce the results of the poll on the blog later. Now, I'm going to take about 5-10 minutes and talk about the Entrepreneur Journeys methodology and the resources that you can use to fine-tune your strategy, which is basically the underpinning of the 1 million by 1 million program. This preview that I'm going to give you refers to the books as your primary resource. If you're using 1 million by 1 million premium, you don't need the books because all the material is available in your online premium lounge. So one of the philosophies of 1 million by 1 million is that there are many more 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million ideas than $500 million or $1 billion ideas. And unlike most incubators or investors, we actually believe that the smaller niche ideas are perfectly worth building, especially if you own a significant percentage of that venture. But if you're working with VCs, or if you're working towards a venture financing model, you're going to have to convince your investors and yourself that you can build a $500 million to $1 billion business. And that is not an easy thing to do. So our philosophy is that we are far more inclusive than just that very small number of companies that fit in that massive market opportunity bucket. And you're very welcome to work with us even if you're working with smaller ideas. And of course, the strategies for financing and business building are quite different if you're working on the more niche businesses. But everything takes into account certain core philosophies that have to do with, bootstrapping, positioning, and so forth. So let's talk about that in a minute. In Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 1, my primary goal was to help inspire you and demystify entrepreneurship for you with the idea of how to craft a business step by step. This process, if you listen to today's session and other sessions like this, you'll see we are talking about how to almost sculpt your company, right? All fine-tuning all the small details of how to build a business. And it is in making sound decisions in those small details that you become a successful business or not. If you go after the wrong segment or the wrong sub-segment, you often get negative validation or a false positive or a false negative, none of which are conducive to being successful. We can't teach you how to be lucky. That's something that is beyond us. If I knew, I promise you I would have taught you, but there's no way to predictably be lucky. So you have to learn, you have to have the work ethic to do the right thing and practice the right strategy and be prepared to receive luck when luck hits you. Now, bootstrapping is a very, very core philosophy of the business, of the methodology that we practice. We do not like capital intensive business ideas. So anytime you come and tell me that I'm going to do a new social network that will compete with Facebook and so forth, I'm going to caution you to not take something like that on, which in today's landscape is going to be very difficult to do. Social networks are very expensive to build. In the same vein, if you come and tell me that you're going to want to set up a solar manufacturing plant, I'm going to be a little bit nervous because I'm not sure how I'll help you fund all that process. And these are also notoriously difficult to bootstrap businesses. So we want you to understand what is bootstrapping, what are the techniques of bootstrapping, what are the strategies of bootstrapping, and what are the pitfalls, what kinds of businesses cannot be bootstrapped. And please understand that validation is a very key element of business building. If you're bootstrapping, obviously you need to validate early and turn your business into cash generating, revenue generating as soon as possible. On the other hand, if you're trying to raise money also, you will need to do different levels of validation before an investor is going to look at you. So we deal extensively in validation methodology. There's multiple modules dealing with validation methodology in the premium program. I'll give you a few case studies. Right now, Ocarina and Webify are 3 case studies in EJ2 that deal with validation. Positioning. Laser sharp positioning is one of the philosophies of a strong capital efficient company. And instead of doing these, I was asking Arun not to go and launch a bunch of different things, bunch of different experiments without thinking through a solid product strategy and positioning a product strategy to a segment that makes sense. We don't like you to build a lot of stuff without actually doing the positioning homework first. So I would like you to do a lot of work on positioning before you go out and build something and waste time in launching something, which is another very expensive thing to do. Our mantra is do not spray and pray. And I see many of you are doing a lot of spraying and praying. Please don't do that. That's a fine way to go out of business very rapidly. So the book is volume 3, How to Test, Validate, and Bring Your Idea to Market. And there is extensive treatment of the positioning subject in Entrepreneur Journey, in the premium program. A couple of good case studies. PayCycle is one in the B2B side. B2C, The Find is a very good positioning case studies in Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 3. All 16 case studies are good, and there are many more in the premium program. Clarify Your Story is a framework that I offer you for free. It's the appendix of Volume 3, and it has 13 pages of questions that you need to answer to really get your, get your story right, get your startup story right. And it's difficult. It's very difficult to answer those questions based on my decade-long strategy consulting career, and I've made a lot of money with this, with answering these kinds of questions. So it's no surprise to me when a lot of you come back to me and tell me that you're having difficulty with this framework. This is why I've put together the curriculum in the premium program and the methodology of the premium program. So if you're struggling with Clarify Your Story, please go do the premium program and get yourself ramped up so that you understand how to do strategy and don't go out of business for reasons that can be perfectly avoidable. Innovation Need of the Hour is the 4th volume of Entrepreneur Journeys. If you're working on capital-intensive business ideas which require a lot of R&D, there are ways to circumnavigate the bottlenecks of the innovation ecosystem, especially financing bottlenecks, and I've dealt with some of them in an Innovation Need of the Hour. So you could use some of those techniques to handle your issues. Some other case studies and principles. One is the Web 3.0 framework, which I think Ben brought up today. I have published extensively on the Web 3.0 framework. It's a very solid product strategy framework for all web businesses. If you're doing a web business, please follow the framework, and a good place to start would be the Taking on Giants section of Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 1. Bootstrapping using services is a technique of bootstrapping that we recommend. A couple of case studies, Bootstrapping to Billions in Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 1, Free to Innovate in Volume 4. This is a topic. The methods and creative bootstrapping strategies is something, again, we deal with extensively in the premium program, and I recommend that you internalize all that if you have aspirations of becoming a successful entrepreneur in today's landscape. Open source go-to-market strategies I like a lot, because they are actually bootstrapping friendly go-to-market strategies. Some case studies are DimDim, Sugar CRM, SpringSource, and CollabNet. They span across EJ3 and EJ4. All the books are available on Amazon and Kindle for the ebooks. In India, you can get them from Flipkart.com. The books are Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 1, Bootstrapping Weapon of Mass Reconstruction, Positioning, How to Test, Validate, and Bring Your Idea to Market, and Innovation Need of the Hour. Vision India 2020 is a book of $45 billion business ideas using India as the strategic, advantage. So whether it's India as the production backend or India as the market, this is a book that uses India's strategic advantages to come up with $45 billion business ideas. So if you are an entrepreneur looking for ideas, large ideas to execute on, this is a very good place to look. And actually, it applies to all the emerging markets, whether you're talking about Latin America or Africa or East Asia, Eastern Europe. You'll find a lot of ideas that are transferable to those emerging markets. It's written as fiction set in 2020, as if we have already built these companies, and it deals in strategy. So it's got a lot of fine nuances of strategy on how to build these businesses. The blog is a very good resource. We publish tons of case studies and trends and so on and so forth there. You're always welcome to use the blog. These strategy roundtables are public roundtables happen every week. We also have private roundtables on top of the public roundtables, which are for the premium members only. We are just about to put a regular schedule around the private roundtables as well. So if you don't want to share your business idea with the world and your business strategy with the world, you can use the premium program and the private roundtables. So let's talk about the premium program. We have a comprehensive curriculum that deals with all the issues that you need to learn as an early stage startup, especially one that needs to deal with a capital efficient methodology. And we have video lectures and case studies. Even though I provide you with the video lectures, I have recorded the video lectures. It is a synthesis of over 300 entrepreneurs' strategies. So the case studies are actually my conversations with over 300 entrepreneurs and what they have told me as their success strategies. And what I have done for you is synthesized all these strategies and come up with a methodology, which is the 1 million by 1 million methodology. And we provide you with both the synthesis in form of video lectures as well as the case studies themselves, so that you can hear it from the different entrepreneurs who have contributed to this curriculum. In addition, we have the private roundtables where you can ask questions and brainstorm. It's a similar format as this one, but it's private. Even in the curriculum, you can ask questions specific to those topics. We also have a discussion forum where you can open up new topics if I've not yet covered it in a curriculum module. We also do extensive business development. We introduce you to customers, channel partners, as well as investors. And we do a lot of PR and analyst relations on behalf of the 1 million by 1 million premium companies. And the premium program costs $1,000 in annual membership fee for unlimited usage. We already have a lot of premium members, and from what I know, most of them are really getting a lot of benefit out of this program. You're very welcome to hang around and talk to some of the premium members and entrepreneurs and 1 million by 1 million ambassadors to get more visibility into that. If you look around, you'll see lots of announcements, partnerships, deals that we have done on behalf of some of these entrepreneurs. So it's already a program that entrepreneurs are using, and we're getting a lot of very positive feedback from these entrepreneurs. Now, as far as the free roundtables are concerned, we are here every week all through May. So you're very welcome to come and pitch your ideas. Sorry. Pretty much every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, we have a roundtable scheduled for May. I'm going to open up my public chat and you can start asking questions. And while you do that, I'm going to also take the time to thank our various partners in different parts of the world. ReadWriteWeb is a great media partner. We work with other media companies, Youth Ki Awaaz, Your Story. We work with various Thai chapters. Thai has been a great collaborator. Many Thai chapters, Thai Chennai, Thai Chicago, Thai Mumbai, just over the last couple of months, Thai Austin in the past, Thai Bangalore, Thai Delhi, so on and so forth. Microsoft BizSpark I talked about earlier in the show. AMITA, the Association of MIT Alumni, the MIT Club of Northern California, which are both my alumni associations. They all spin off the MIT network. Indian Angel Network, the largest angel network in India. Persistent Systems is a corporate partner. We actually have a deal with Persistent Systems where some of the 1 million by 1 million companies are going to market through the Persistent channel. InQ Capital is a new partner. It's an incubator. MAD Incubator in Malaysia is also a very strong reseller partner of ours in Malaysia. So we have a variety of different partners, and of course, VView is a great technology partner. As you see, this conference is being made possible by the VView technology, and 1 million by 1 million entrepreneurs are very welcome to use this video conferencing system for free for a year. VView has been very generous about offering this to our members free of charge. So with that, let's see if you, I'm going to look in the public chat and see if you guys have questions. And Ravi and Maureen would like you to go and vote at the Facebook page. And Irina is bringing up a very important point in the group chat, is that we do work with a lot of incubators, and if you are in a region where there's a strong tech incubator or a new tech incubator that is trying to get itself ramped up, please get in touch with us, and we are very happy to work with other tech incubators in your geography and help them bring the 1 million by 1 million program into your community. All right, looks like there are no questions. In which case, we're going to close the room for today, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Oh, okay, so Udi has a question related to the first presentation. Go ahead, Udi. Also, folks, please help us spread the word around. If you found today's session useful, please, tweet about it, let your other entrepreneur friends know about it, and help us scale this program. 1 million by 1 million will only happen if many of you become 1 million entrepreneurs with 1 million in revenue, but also bring in other entrepreneurs into the program. Why didn't you ask about the competitive landscape since there are other players? Oh, well, that is a question that they need to deal with. This is a 3-minute presentation with another maximum 5 to 7 minutes of Q&A. So I pretty much focused on the questions that they wanted to focus on. So the format of this session is that we let you do a 3-minute pitch and highlight the areas that you want to focus on. So the entrepreneur did not really want to focus on competitive landscape, so I did not focus on that. If the entrepreneur wanted to focus on competitive landscape, I would focus on that. But no question, if you do the premium program, one of the core modules is competitive positioning, and you're going to have to go through that module, you're going to have to internalize that module, and you're going to have to come up with a good, compelling competitive strategy to bring your product to market. Anything else? Well, I'm not going to talk to you about the competitive landscape. You need to do your competitive analysis and come and present the competitive analysis, and I would be happy to help you with your competitive positioning. But I'm not going to do your competitive research for you. That's your job. But if you're trying to understand the basic framework of how to do a competitive strategy, go join the premium program and do the core curriculum. We deal with that competitive positioning topic at length. Okay, looks like there are no other questions, so we'll close out the room for today, and we'll see you next week at 8 a.m. Pacific time, May 5th. That's all for now.